Alright, back with a quick update video today. It's been a couple weeks since I finished wrapping the posts out here on the garage and the porch. Today we're going to go over getting these things prepped, sealed, and treated. Alright, so the bases are going to be painted as we discussed previously, and I want to match the colors of the house already. So I took a scrap of my vinyl siding and a scrap of the aluminum trim into Lowe's, had them do a color match on that. They matched those colors and mixed those up for me. This is a exterior paint and primer in one for both of these, so that should match perfectly. And then for the top, I really want to protect it. I wasn't trying to add too much color to it, so I went with this Thompson's WaterSeal, and it is a natural cedar, so it should give it a slight tint, but shouldn't be anything too drastic. Okay, so I already went through and did all the caulking on these. I am going to come back and loosen the brackets on those gutters so I can pull those away to do the actual painting. I used a quick dry caulk, so you're supposed to be able to paint over that in about 20 minutes. I gave it a bit more time than that. By the time I get to painting these, it'll probably be an hour and a half or 2 hours of dry time, because I'm going to treat the top of these first. Mainly tried to fill in any gaps, get them as clean as I could, so that once they're painted they're all smoothed. I did hit them very quickly with 120 grit just to knock off any very rough edges. I didn't want them to be completely smooth. I'll let the paint speak for itself. It's a flat paint, so it shouldn't show much from that perspective anyways. We have all of them treated at the top. Adds a little bit more color than I was expecting, but I think it looks good. I'm glad I left it a couple weeks before I treated these, so you could see a little bit of the black marks from those nails weathering a bit. I like that. There you go. And just for reference, these poles are cedar as well, and you can see the big color difference between them. So not doing it today, but eventually I'm going to do the same thing with these. The top above and below the rails will be painted, and the posts will be treated with the same sealer. Alright, let's break out the paint. there's the first coat of the white onto the pillars. It's getting a little cold, so I'm not going to put the second one on there yet. It's tacky or it's dry enough that I could, but it's a little chilly now with the sun going down, so I think I got another day and a half where it'll be warm enough to paint without rain. So I'll definitely get the second coat of white on there. The first coat took a lot more paint because if you remember, this was rough wood, so that really soaks it up. I made sure I took my time and got it all in there, so the second coat should go a lot faster. Yeah, I'll get the second coat of white on there, then I'll be very careful putting the green on the center panels. That might not take 2 coats, but we'll see. I'll see how it covers on the first one. But for now, I think I'm going to put a couple screws to hold that gutter back in place so it doesn't fall down tonight. And we'll come back to it tomorrow. Alright, there's a second coat of the white on there. It went on a lot quicker than the first one did. If you take your time and really put the first coat on there well, especially on new wood, the second one's a lot easier and it looks a lot smoother. So, very happy with how that turned out. All right, and I got my brush cleaned up. Time to break out the green and start painting those panels. Two of the panels done with the first coat. I did just have that one drip, so I'll have to touch that up down there on the bottom after I get both coats of this green on. But yeah, you'll see the color change a little bit as it dries. I was very pleased with how well the white matched my trim up here after it was dry when I looked at it this morning, and I expect the same from this sage color when I'm done with that too. So, all right, as you can see, this is the painstaking work, making those clean edges. I don't know, I spent a summer as a painter when I was in college, so I learned to do that decently by hand, so I'm not taping it or anything. And yeah, it'll look good enough. So again, this is external and I'm not an artist by any stretch of the imagination, but pretty happy with that. And then I can come back if there's anything that needs to be touched up with the white. I have some extra of that. So, all right, there are 2 panels down, 14 more to go. All right, there we go. That is the first coat of the sage color on all of the pillars. I'll give that a chance to dry tonight and see what it looks like tomorrow and decide if I want to put another coat on it or not. That seemed to cover a lot better than the first coat of the white did. Probably because those panels were a lot smoother. If you remember, those trim pieces I ripped out of 2x4s, so a little bit rougher and soaked up the paint a lot more. So we'll see what it looks like in the sunlight. If I need to put another coat on that, I can. It's not a problem. It'll go nice and quick. I won't have to take as much time doing the edges. Just cover most of it again. But we'll see what it looks like in the morning. Next step is to apply the same finish to this railing here. So I built this here, and I still need to add a little bit right there. That gap's a little bit too big. There were 4 posts or lag bolts sticking out of the concrete here, and there's a little bit too much wiggle there, so I'm gonna put a block of 2x4 block down here, put these 4-inch legs through that, really lock that block to the cement, and then I'll put screws going this way from these cedar pieces, and then I'll cap that somehow. So that should stable that up a little bit more. These are cedar posts, so I'll do the same stain on those, and then I'll caulk and sand all of this really nice, and probably do all green on the bottom, all sage on the bottom, and then sage, white, sage for that. But that'll be the next painting project. Alright, thanks for watching. Drop something in the comments if you have a question. If you want to see more stuff like this, like and subscribe.